positive vibes only. No, like no positive vibes only. Hi, I'm Marc Cordon Creative, and I help people simultaneously feel good and do good so they can disrupt the status quo on TEDx stages, podcasts, digital courses, and a whole bunch of other places. I really am excited to start this mini course with you because you're going to hear me talking a lot about joy. I don't think there will be a course or video that I put out where joy is not mentioned. But here's the thing. If I only focus on joy with you all the time and in every one of my videos and not address other things, that could be totally deleterious for you. A lot of people will go out and say, hey, joy is a panacea, or they'll say, joy is the solution to everything. Positive vibes only. No, like no positive vibes only. Sometimes we need to not feel positive vibes only. This need to feel happy all the time is both unrealistic and toxic. And even if it was real, it'd be totally boring. There'd be no taste to life. There'd be no flavor. There'd be no spice because our lives are nothing but ups and downs and all arounds. And we're just trying to make meaning of all of it. So why focus on just one emotion? We can't. I had the pleasure of having Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar on my podcast a few years ago. Now, at the time, he was a professor at Harvard University teaching happiness, and it was the largest class in the university, right? And he said this, Tal said this, if you're happy 24/7, you're either dead or you're a psychopath. We weren't meant to go in one way 24/7, right? Now, I wrote this mini course, the Antidote for Toxic Positivity, when my dad died. And at the time, there was no joy or cheering up or happiness that could bring me out of it. I just needed to sit with my grief and my anger and my sadness. And I had to keep digging deeper and deeper and deeper in the underground to get through it. Now, I'm not totally through it. There's days where I miss him so much. But being able to process these things that are not happy or not joyful is a great way to be alive. It's a great way to feel those ups and downs and all arounds. And with that said, here we go, the antidote to toxic positivity. And if you're excited about this, I want you to like this video and let's dive in. Welcome to the Antidote to Toxic Positivity, a mini course for those tired of hearing pithy, sugary platitudes and are ready to live the full life. It's tiny little class number 1, the fulfilled life. Quote, life is difficult. Once we see this truth, we transcend it. Unquote. Dr. Scott Peck. Flip Flop. It's the perfect title. Something named after an actual sound an item makes when it's put to good use. When it's in alignment with the foot. For 40-something years, in this very space that I write and I record, this was both a prominent sound and a prominent object in my Filipino-American household. The flip-flop literally separated the sometimes dangerous, other times not so authentic external world from the safety of the internal family. If anyone was home, you could hear the flip of the rubber chanelas hitting the linoleum floor. And then the flop of, the rubber suction cupping to the arc of your foot. It was the sound that the home was alive and well. And my dad, with his short, wide feet, would tread the heaviest sound of them all, like he had little PV bass amps tied to the back of his calves. Dad's walk in those flip-flops boomed. So when I came back to caretake for him, I knew his transition was inevitable. And when it happened, the belly laughs of relatives who came from all over the country, and those who obeyed social distancing practices, who participated via Zoom, still showed the house was alive. Kids letting their Klondike bars melt because the pool was a more alluring siren. Cousins surrounding my mother as they walked a tightrope between levity and pain. Even when Dad's casket was lowered into the ground, we couldn't help but sing Que Sera, Sera. It was like a sonic archangel was giving us a huge bear hug. And it was as romantic of a send-off as we hoped for when I was told that I was the final piece to Dad's full circle life. Then, one by one, everyone cleared out, back to the confines of their own houses to sleep in their own beds. One by one, my relatives and virtuous friends left. They left like a Von Trapp kid saying, "So long, farewell" at a house party. And when it came to Mom and me on our first night in this home as a streamlined family, I heard nothing. I heard no cars driving by. I didn't hear the faint background buzz when I'm meditating. And I especially didn't hear the booming footsteps of my father in his house slippers. I walked up to a portrait of my dad's visage and made a sound for myself. A scream right out of the cheesiest 80s horror movie, mixed with a cry for my daddy to come back. I embraced that portrait so hard it cracked. The home was neither alive nor well. That was the sound of a broken heart, and with it came the release of a caretaker stuck in grief purgatory way too long, and the beginning of walking in my own flip-flops with my own short, wide feet on the long road to grieving. Now, somewhere early in on the journey, I heard someone urge me to look at the bright side of things. Now, as much as I love the Killers, there's no way being Mr. Brightside could soothe or ease my pain. In fact, it'd make the problem worse. Just as insidious were the pithy, sugar-coated one-liners I'd see on social media. Hang in there. What the fuck do you know? Find the silver lining. No. Positive vibes only. Why? Toxic positivity can be described as insincere positivity that leads to harm, needless suffering, or misunderstanding, says California-based psychiatrist Gayani De Silva. Toxic positivity is all over the social media. In memes, positive vibes only is a popular message. And when someone has a bad day, in the comments section, people would leave messages like, "It could be worse." In other words, toxic positivity refers to the idea of focusing only on the positive and dismissing any other emotion that may be deemed negative. For the sake of clarity, positive psychology looks at what's going right while allowing space for all of your emotions to come through. It's not a 24/7 poops and giggles, Marc Cordon riding Pegasus on a double rainbow, throwing Skittles out to everybody. And actually, Dr. Tal Ben-Shahar says it best. If you're happy 24/7, you're one of two things. You're either a sociopath or you're dead. Yet we still live in a society that celebrates this lifestyle, in a culture that glorifies positivity. But the overgeneralization of thinking happy thoughts applied to all situations can become decidedly toxic as it denies the full human experience. When it comes to the full human experience, Maslow put it really well when he says, we need to become self-actualizing. We need to be moving towards enrichment and self-fulfillment. And in reaching self-fulfillment, we are living closer to our maximum potential, and thus, we are living a more fulfilled and satisfied life. Now, this course gets positivity back on track like a flip-flop in alignment with the foot, reminding us that with those poops and giggles come piss and vinegar, which makes your life less happy, joy, and more full, robust, and dare I say, adventuresome. Hey, Mark here. If you enjoyed the Antidote to Toxic Positivity, the mini course, I ask you to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm going to be posting more content just like this one every single week so you can lead an even more fulfilling life and pursue that joy revolution. And if you're ready to go even deeper, I invite you to come to the underground. Now, the underground is my community space where creatives and change makers and entrepreneurs just like you get to talk about joy, creativity, and societal change. You'll have access to exclusive resources, a dynamic community, and transformative courses that will take you from theory to action. It's called Praxis. And much of these things can only be found in the underground. There's a link to learn more in the description. I'll see you there. And also, don't forget always do good, feel good, dig deep, and I'll see you in the underground.